Grandpa's loose. Grandpa's loose. He is in Detroit, where I grew up. Well, I grew up in Warren, but still close enough. 8 Mile. I grew up on 13 Mile. Regardless, Donald Trump is there, and baby, he forgot to blend. Forgot to look at that. This is a low quality image, and you can still see that is 7 shades of difference. Someone get a drag queen to help Donald Trump learn how to blend. He was there to promote, I don't know, I guess affordability, even though things are not affordable. And I guess he's trying to move the narrative away from the terror he is inflicting on U.S. citizens. So let's go through it. Donald Trump started off all like this. This is the best. This is as good as it gets.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
We're just going to move on. We're just going to move on to the next clip. Donald Trump argues with himself, where his teleprompter says that they're going to bring back affordability, but then he remembers that he's actually against that word.
In the coming weeks, I will be laying out even more plans to help bring back affordability. And again, remember, that's a fake word by Democrats. Prices were too high. They caused the high price. They never want to talk about affordability. They always go, this is an election about affordability. I say, they caused it. But they're good at that stuff. They're good at that stuff.
I mean, things are expensive right now. I'm sure you know that at home. Donald Trump was also, I mean, this to me is like, it makes you want to like, it just makes you want to, I can't say what it makes you want to do. But Donald Trump said this about someone dying in the protests in Iran.
People have been killed in Iran.
Nobody's been able to give me an accurate number. I have heard numbers from, everything's a lot. One is a lot. But I've heard numbers.
One is a lot. One person dying in a protest is a lot. Stares directly at camera. Stares in Renee Good. One person in Iran is a lot. One person in Minneapolis is just fine. Is just fine. Donald Trump also, I want to show this, even though I know we're all so used to the fact that the President of the United States just lies about our elections. But let's slow it down for a second, because it is absolutely insane that the President of the United States lost an election in 2020, and he can't just admit that. He lies.
We won everything. We won all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College, 312 to 226. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of, oh, it's so nice to win the popular vote. I won the popular vote all 3 times too, but we're not going to get into that. But the first time they said I didn't win the popular vote, but I won the Electoral College. So they always said, while he didn't win, this is the way I got introduced every time. While he didn't win the popular vote, he won the Electoral College, you know. So this is the way I was introduced for 4 years. And guess what? We said, I'm going back, and we're going to win and we won the popular vote by.
I mean, I kind of feel like if you win, you win. He's the only person I've ever experienced who's a sore winner. Now, he's also threatening to ruin our economy.
And if we don't raise interest rates every time good news is mentioned. You know, in the old days, I'm probably old. I used to be up at these lecterns, and I'd say I'm younger than pretty much everybody in the room. Now I say I'm older than pretty much everybody in the room. I like it the other way better, actually. But you're too young. But in the old days, when you had good numbers, interest rates would go down. When you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. That's the way we're going to make it again. That's the old-fashioned way. That's the right.
When the person who runs the country also runs the economy, that is the recipe for economic disaster. That is where Donald Trump is taking us. That's where it's heading. Now, Jerome Powell has committed to staying in office for until I think until like March or May, whenever his time is up. But he's committed to staying his full term. And Donald Trump can't even wait that long. Wants to get him out now, and is using the government, weaponizing it to try to get the federal chair out. It's not great, to put it lightly. It's not a good situation we find ourselves in. And do you think we want this guy running our government and running our economy? No, I don't think so. Donald Trump went on to say that, well, actually, what I wanted to show you here is that there's a series of lies. We're not going to listen to the full thing. But I want you to point out, like, the thing that I think is interesting about this, we kind of noticed it in the other clips too, that he does all this stuff. Like, he's kind of being a clown. And the audience is like, they're like, are you watching this? This is really weird. This is like, are you seeing this? And the audience is kind of shocked by what the president is acting like.
Every prediction the critics made about our tariff policy has failed to materialize. The evidence shows overwhelmingly that the tariffs are not paid by American consumers, that they're paid by foreign nations and middlemen. And Scott went over that with us before, and they're paid by middlemen. They raise the thing. Countries get involved. They pay them because otherwise they won't have companies. They won't be viable. And we're the big beneficiary. Once again, the so-called experts were 100% wrong, and Trump was right. People of Michigan were 100% right. You elected the right guy. Have you had...
Imagine, like, in your speech, it's in the third person about you. Like, what level of narcissism is that?
Were 100% wrong, and Trump was right. People of... And the so-called experts were 100% wrong, and Trump was right. People of Michigan were...
Insane. Insane. Now, Donald Trump also, in the same speech, brought up the Panama Canal.
They wanted to have the money given away. You know, we built the Panama Canal out of tariffs. We did a lot of things. Panama Canal was the single biggest investment, relatively speaking, that this country's ever made. Would be the equivalent of trillions of dollars today. And Jimmy Carter gave it away for $1. It was also the most profitable thing ever built. Thing. In other words, like buildings or casinos or anything, the most profitable thing ever built was the Panama Canal. And brilliantly, Jimmy Carter thought the country of Panama should have it, even though we lost 36,000 people to the mosquito. You know that, right? To the mosquito and a certain snake, which was not a very nice reptile. This was a brutal reptile. You got bit, it was over. It was just like, bye-bye, everybody. We lost 30.
One more. Now, this one I wanted to show you because I actually do think this is something Donald Trump does. I do think he projects. I don't think he realizes he does it. And in this final clip, Donald Trump makes a very interesting accusation of Joe Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen. And then it would be like very short. Although the one time they had him spruced up pretty good. Remember, he was high as a kite. He was floating. He was up there way up. He didn't. That was a bad speech. But, hey, he got through it, you know, he got through it. If you call it getting through, this country was so, can you imagine allowing 25 million people into our country?
Biden, one time they had him spruced up pretty good. He was high as a kite. He was floating. He was way up there, way up. I will allege that happens to this man. I think they fill him up with some stuff, and sometimes we get him on a really, you know, I think they've kind of figured out the right combination, but sometimes they give a little bit too little or a little too much, and we all suffer the consequences. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit like, subscribe.